Hi, good morning. This is Andrew Lowsutea present. Wow, so good to see all of you again. Wow, that's one of the things that I think is so important. We can actually every week to learn something different and really can help you to improve your health. Now, why I actually choose this topic called salty food, how much you can eat to can hamper your heart and cholesterol. As you know, many diabetic patients or pre-diabetic patients, matter of fact, majority of them will have basically somehow some many of them will have hypertension, which is high blood sugar. So what is not high blood sugar, high blood pressure? And why you said high blood pressure? Because majority of these people will start off, remember, we have the high cholesterol LDL goes up and mix it with the blood and with sugar and the blood and cholesterol with sugar together, the blood becomes thick and some plaques everywhere, and that's raised your high blood pressure. And when that happens, you will have to really take care of it. If you don't, you eventually hurt your heart, hurt your kidney, and hurts everything. So really become, a person wisely to able to get, good pressure is blood pressure is so important. And you really don't want your blood pressure to continue to be high because at the end of the day, that will cost you tremendously on your heart, your kidney, and everything. So today, I thought perhaps give you a better understanding how do you further improve the blood pressure by taking less salt. As simple as that, taking less salt. However, as you know, in Chinese, they eat a lot of soy sauce, and also certainly American or Westerner also put salt on our food all the time, and so easy to increase what? The salt intake. And when you increase the salt intake, your blood pressure goes up. So today, we purposely did a webinar to help you to better understand where does salt come from and why you really need to help yourself to lower the salt intake so you can able to better improve your uh, blood pressure just on not taking so much salt. And that's what this lecture about. So shall we start? We'll start a webinar right now. Okay, good. Now let's talk about a little bit about how much salt, how to impact your heart, cholesterol, and your blood pressure at the end of the day. So all these will be all affected. And so for pre-diabetic patients or diabetes patients, you better start listening this lecture because this will definitely help you to improve your blood pressure, and you don't have to damage your heart and cholesterol, your heart and your kidney and all the other vital organs because your blood pressure is high. Okay, so today's topic is first, we're going to ask, well, how does salt connected with your heart health and cholesterol? And what is the common salt come from the food, and how do you avoid them? And how do you, decrease the salt intake without sacrificing the taste? A lot of people say, no, I can't do it because, well, I eat the food, there's no taste. Well, that's not true because you different spice is not salt and still achieve the same thing. It's very delicious. And how can Lowsutea help you too? So we will talk about that. I think today is a very good, informative seminar for you to understand what is the salt intake can help hurt you if you don't take care of yourself. Okay. Now, I saw a lot of names today which I'm not familiarized, so I thought perhaps we would also catch up everybody with understanding how diabetic being formed. And everybody go through 4 stages from uh, uh, from the different stage, eventually move to a diabetic stage. Now, the first stage usually the LDL cholesterol, bad cholesterol increase, and that result it damaged the B cells came from the pancreas. The B cells will take the sugar to the cells, and when B cell damage, the sugar will continue to circulate in the bloodstream, and more sugar is circulated, and the LDL cholesterol get together, the blood becomes thick. When the blood becomes thick, the problems got formed, problems start establishing all the plaques throughout the vessel wall, throughout the body. So you got to find out all these plaques come bodies over here, you see the plaque, and then with that, you have less space for the vessels. So then naturally, really the blood pressure start going up. Now, when blood sugar goes up, you usually don't feel anything. Matter of fact, you even don't know about it. So you do the same lifestyle, no change. You can eat the same thing, 3 scoop of ice cream every day, and eventually your plaque will form, continue to form, and your blood pressure kind of goes up. And then very quickly, you're going to start to move yourself to stage 3, which is what they call a pre-diabetic stage. Now, what is a pre-diabetic stage? Basically, every doctor measures the same thing. This test is called HbA1c. HbA1c is measure the amount of sugar, percentage of sugar attached to your hemoglobin. Now, everybody has hemoglobin, just red cells, and the amount of percent of sugar attached to it. Like, for example, if your blood HbA1c is 5.7 and below, you are a normal person. But if you're 5.7 to 6.4, now you become a pre-diabetic. Unfortunately, when you're pre-diabetic, the doctors say, hey, Mr. So-and-so, you're pre-diabetic now. And you need to, control your diet, low carbs, so less sugar, and you have to exercise, lower your weight. Now, you hear all this warning, but you have no motivation to really make some change. The reason, because you don't feel anything. You don't feel sick. You don't feel pain. And basically, most likely you heard it say, oh, yeah, I will watch. But most likely you basically continue the same lifestyle. Now, net result, very quickly, 5.7 will go to 6. After 6, 6.4, and eventually over 6.4. Now you move to stage 4. When your A1C over 6.4%, now you become a official diabetic. Very quick, 2 to 3 years, you will change like that. And once you become a diabetic, the A1C will continue to march on, will be 7, 8, and 9, and 10, and so forth. And doctor will usually give you pills. But a pill doesn't seem to work. Usually give you metformin, and they tend to be continue marching up. So net result, we usually help people in a pre-diabetic stage with Lowsutea to help them to basically control the blood sugar, cholesterol, and blood pressure, so they will not always raise up to 614 and above. So net result, you don't become a diabetic patient. So that's the wonderful. Well, that's why we suggest Lowsutea. So what is Lowsutea? Well, Lowsutea basically are 2 things that are guava leaves, which is delay absorption of sugar entering the bloodstream, so less sugar in the blood vessels. But there's one more thing, a bitter melon, which is extremely, really magic food, I say, that able to basically increase insulin sensitivity, take the sugar back to the cells, and then the excess sugar, and also the cholesterol, they will, and salt will dump off at the urine, so they will not reabsorb. So they will dump off the sugar, excess sugar, the cholesterol, and salt, and so your blood pressure will also come down after salt decrease. So 3 high will go down: sugar, cholesterol, and blood pressure, and plus the detox. That's why we suggest use Lowsutea to help you to further improve your health. Drinking just tea, that's it, and it's very good. Now, we not necessarily only have 5 programs to help you to drink just the tea. We have 5 programs to help you to not only just drink tea, but also teach you about dieting, how to do low carb diet, low fat diet, and then also show you how to do your exercise to 8 to 10,000 steps per day. Also show you how to do weight control. If your BMI is 30 and above, you got to bring it down to 23. We'll show you all that. Plus, weekly webinar is free. We have 350 plus webinar in YouTube for you to listen. So you can able to sort through the type of topics you like, and you can listen. And you can learn about everything in diabetes and in cholesterol, in pre-diabetic prevention, everything, okay? Plus, we'll teach you how to daily track your blood sugar and your cholesterol and your diet, and how many step exercise. We'll give you all that for free. So many of our patients, the A1C is 10+% above. They brought it down to under 6, and many of them below 5.7. So they can actually achieve that, and many of them will lower the blood, their not only blood sugar, the cholesterol, and also lower the drugs. That's the important. They don't have to take so much drug, no insulin, many of them. So this is the program. You want to see more, it's called just go down to YouTube and put down CTT's Lowsutea/video. CTTEASLOWSUTA/VIDEOS videos. Go to YouTube. You see that you have 500 lectures that you can able to view anytime in your own spare time. So you learn tremendously. Okay, to be better your health. So I will empower you to do this, and you can able to improve your health. Oh, let's go to the topic today now. Okay, as you know, 1 in 3 adults had high blood pressure. Imagine that every 3 adult, one guy have high blood pressure. Wow, imagine, that's terrible, right? So because of the fact that how you get that is just literally take too much salt, and you basically with high salt intake, you actually got high risk of heart disease, potential stroke, and kidney damage. And kidney damage so much that your kidney don't function, you have to go dialysis. And don't go that road. It's terrible. So don't do that. And on top of that, you have a silent contribution of high cholesterol and inflammation. And I'll explain further why that happened that way. So really, a lot of people don't know why. You high salt intake, it actually hurt your heart, stroke, kidney, plus also increase the cholesterol because you got your body continue to inflame. Okay, so this is something that really not good for your health. So, but salt is important for your body. If you have just the good salt, will right the balance, right? So first of all, salt is maintain fluid balance. So salt is called sodium in the body and play a very important role to regulate the water inside and outside your cells. So if you have no salt, you actually have difficulty to walk because you get very tired. Your nerve does not transmit. You can't do that. I saw quite a few people come into the ER when I was an ER nurse in Hawaii. They are very weak. They have no energy. They start hallucinating because only the body don't have enough salt. Once you get IV fluid with salt, man, this guy become alert, awake, start walking. That's simple. So really, salt play a very important role regulating balance of fluid inside, outside your cells. Also, it helps nerve muscle function, allow the muscle to contract. As I said, if you don't have enough salt, the muscle cannot contract. They don't move. They get tired. And especially the biggest muscle is what? Your heart. So you don't have enough salt, your heart might not function well. Okay. But when you have too much salt, then the problem comes because your heart and the arteries, you basically increase because water retention, and you place a lot of strain into the blood vessel, and your blood pressure goes up. Net result, your heart, your artery become really damaged. So that's why too much salt is not going to help you either. So you got to have the right balance of salt. If you keep functioning well, you have too much, it damages your heart and damage your artery, and your blood pressure keep going up. And also eventually, because the high blood pressure can even strain so much that you can have stroke, and that is not a place you want to go either. So salt is important. Now, how the salt, we talk a lot about salt impacting your blood pressure. How does it work? Now, certainly when you have sodium, which is salt, in the water in the bloodstream, it is like basically how you get that is you eat your food and the salt got into the bloodstream, and your body start retaining this water and not excreting out through the urine. So more water in the system, in the bloodstream, your blood volume become more and more. So in other words, the retaining water, you get your blood get mixed together, the blood volume will just continue more and more. Then you become getting pressure increase in your blood vessels. Now that's very simple. So whatever you drink, the water, the salt, because your salt intake is high, will just retain in your body and mix with all the blood, and blood volume is start going up, and then you got higher blood pressure. So more fluid intake, more pressure, on your vessels to the vessel wall. So in other words, your wall become more and more pressure. Over time, this artery would actually, or your vessel, start straining your heart. And when you get high pressure all the time, it strain your heart, you wear out your vessel wall, and the wall becomes thick, and also it damages your heart. And that's simple. So really, you don't want to get too much salt in there, would create a high blood pressure. That's the reason why as you get older, the doctors say you got to measure blood pressure every morning, maybe around in the morning around 8 o'clock, when you just woke up at 7 o'clock. Measure blood pressure, see what your blood pressure is, and also midday and also in the evening. So net result, we really know that your blood pressure are not high, whereby it will damage your blood vessels wall, damage your kidney, and damage your heart. That's the most important, and not damage your heart, because you damage your heart, you are in serious health issue. Now, we talk about salt. Well, how does it relate to salt and also cholesterol? How's that linked? Now, unfortunately, when you have a lot of salt intake, it triggers some kind of inflammation in your body. All the vessels start inflamed. And when you excess salt intake from your diet, so now you have a low-grade chronic inflammation in the whole body. Your vessels are continuing to inflame. You got excess inflammation. Your body, all the organs are inflamed a bit, small amount. But when you have high inflammations or a little more inflammation, it increases the LDL cholesterol, the bad cholesterol. Now, so this inflammation, it disrupts the fat processing, because when you inflame, the fat is not processed well. Then the LDL cholesterol, which is the bad cholesterol, it start increasing, and it start clogging all the vessels. Now, remember earlier I showed the slide, the LDL cholesterol forming the plaques everywhere. It start clogging vessels, and when that happens, your blood pressure definitely goes up. And you continue to do that, and more vessel clot, because this was clot, it doesn't unclot, it will continue to stay there. So net result, this is not good for your long-term health. And on top of that, it stiffens your blood vessels and also worsen the arterial plaque build up. And when that more build up, unfortunately, go to your heart or go to your kidney, and you will get enough blockage in your heart, you will have a heart attack and you could die. And that's why this is so important. So the salt link to cholesterol is a really interesting link, which you don't want to have so much because of the salt getting more burden to your cholesterol. And that's why we want to let you know this is important to start controlling that. Now, the amount of salt intake for WHO recommend is 5 grams, which is only 1 teaspoon per day. It's not a lot of salt, my friend. It's 1 teaspoon per day. Now, average intake in the world, basically, they said you take about 9 to 12 grams per day. So really, at the end of the day, you really need to consciously look at it. Don't take the salt as you don't need to. Now, a lot of people form habit without even trying to understand if the food is tasty or not tasty. They bring out the salt and pepper. They go, chung, 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 a lot of salt. Now, when you do that, you will definitely eat more than 9 to 12 grams. So try to get down to less than 5 grams. And if you can able to do a small amount of salt, at the end of the day, it will big impact for your heart. So your heart will have better health. And really, at the end of the day, when you get older, your heart becomes very important. You don't want to get excess plaquing on your heart, where you block your cholesterol and block everything. So if your heart doesn't work, you know what? You have a heart attack and you die as end game. So really, you need to figure a way, continue to protect your heart. And that is so important. So you might ask, well, where does salt come from, man? I mean, I've been trying to eat little salt, but it seems like my blood pressure is too high. Now, a lot of hidden sauce from the salt in our food is basically, many of them will be processed meat, like ham, bacon, sausage. There's a lot of salt to make that. Plus the canned good, like instant noodle, and also open a can, spam, a lot of salt. Matter of fact, you look at that in the label, you know how many grams of salt in each, how many grams of meat that you eat. Wow, that's a lot. Plus, a lot of time you eat your sauce, like soy sauce, ketchup, and dressing. Look at how much salt is that in there. Plus the bread, baked goods, all these contain salt because they want to make it taste good, right? So net result, the hidden salt is really from many different foods. So best thing is to do is look at the label. Now, food label is very important because from the label, you know how many grams of salt are being there. Now, usually salt might not be always clear labels say how many grams, but most of them now they do. So you look at it. And you also need to look at sometimes the word. The salt can be hidden on different names, like for example, MSG, baking soda, sodium benzoate, disodium phosphate. All these are actually still salt. So you really want to make sure you go have 140 milligram per serving of low sodium. You want to do that. And then in the label, you want to check all the nutritional label, which is state the salt in there, the salt intake. So you want to look at all that. That will make sure if you can consciously do salt intake, then net result, the result is you take less salt per day. So important to look at the label of when you each item you eat. The important thing is not to eat a lot of canned goods and stuff like that because there's a lot of salt in there. So take that away, or put say no low salt canned goods. That will be good. Now you also sometimes when you eat too much salt, the sign and symptom when you have too much salt intake, there are several things. One, you'll be always very thirsty because when salt, they want you to get water in. So you continue to feel thirsty. You also feel bloated and also puffiness. You also maybe a headache. Plus your brain fog. Your brain suddenly just like don't function anymore. It's kind of like, wow, I can't get my concentrate. It's just fogged up, so to speak. Plus, if we check, you have high blood pressure. And especially when you check up, oh, my blood sugar is high. Well, 160 rather than lower than 130. 130 is a mark. Matter of fact, right now, the high standard is 120 and below. But I know many of you are elderly, so you got to below 130. So really, if you're 60 years or above, try to get it to below 130 now. And if younger, 120, my friend. So try to see what's your blood pressure. Now you have blood sugar cuff, take it every day. Check yourself. What is your blood pressure? We talk a lot about, well, food is there. You have all the canned goods and all that. And you need to look at the label before you eat. Wow, how I'm going to get all these, when I eat, how do I cut down my salt if I seeing all that? First of all, you eat the label, select the right food, right? But more important, how can I cut down the salt is really eat more home cooked meal. Now, I found myself actually before I eat a lot in a restaurant during lunch in business hours, but I found myself when I start bringing my lunch back, because I cook at home, I cut down my salt, my carbs, eat a lot more greens like salad. Oh, net result, I was healthier. So meaning that you gotta prepare that food at home without going to the restaurant. So you can cook more meals at home and take that. And then the soup will be a lot of beans and all that. No salt, but the beans already give you the taste. It's wonderful. Plus, you don't use salt to cook the food, you use herbs and spice. And it tastes just as good because you have all natural flavor like garlic, onion, pepper, lemon juice, herb like basil, oregano, rosemary. Now, all these are not salt and just give you better taste. So think about that to cook food with less salt. Matter of fact, I found in the internet a lot of recipe say low salt recipe. So they basically are NO, no. It also can give you tremendous amount of just as tasty food, but without salt, with all the herbs get together and mix together, the food very tasty. Plus, if you have canned goods like veggie, beans, you drain it with a strainer and wash it, and then you wash out basically about 40% of the salt and make them a healthier choice instead of eat just by itself. And you gotta look for low sodium or no salt version of the canned goods, and so that will help you to continue to lower your salt intake. I think when you be aware, you know what, those are really good stuff, and you will continue to do better and better. Now, also on top of that, you have all the natural alternative flavor to make your the food taste better, like garlic, onion, lemon juice, vinegar, fresh or dry herbs like basil, oregano, rosemary, pepper. Those are good stuff that help you to basically cut down the salt, but you still also taste extremely good. And when I cook, usually now I don't use any other oil except olive oil, and that will be also very, very good. Now, when you reduce all the salt, one of the benefits is you now lower your blood pressure, improve your heart function, reduce your cholesterol over time. That is most important because you really have to lower your cholesterol. If not, it's stuck your heart, and you don't want to do it at age 70. You have high cholesterol and you end up will be a heart attack. That is a no-no. So reduce your cholesterol over time. And on top of that, when you less salt, you'll be less bloating and better energy level. And all that are good stuff. So let's try to achieve that. That will be better for you. So now we learned all about that. But the one more thing, you really have to drink Lowsutea, because you know why? Lowsutea had two things there. One is the guava leaves, the lower blood sugar entering the blood vessel, and bitter melon increased insulin sensitivity, takes sugar back to the cells. But there's one more important thing. It dumped sugar, cholesterol, and salt from your bloodstream out through urine. So net result, they don't reabsorb. When your salt go down, you know what? It help you to lower your blood pressure. So the salt that you take, Lowsutea actually help you to remove those salt, so you can able to lower your blood pressure. So now we have removed your blood sugar, your blood pressure, and your bad cholesterol. That's why you drink Lowsutea. So which is very important. So in conclusion, you really too much salt is really harm silently to your heart and could be your kidney. And that's something you really want to control. So excess salt really increases your blood pressure, increase your trigger inflammation, your whole body, and then you increase your risk of heart attack, stroke, and also high cholesterol. And then on the other hand, you might say, hey, I'm totally fine, I'm no problem. But this is really a silent killer, because you don't know until the day you suddenly drop dead and find out, wow, because my heart got plugged up my coronary artery, I got a heart attack, I die. And you don't want to do that, right? You want to live for a long time, old age, to see your grandchildren grow up, and that's what you do. So to do that, you really have to able to process this salt intake, not to take a lot. So one thing is all packaged food. Hopefully you can eliminate, because 70% of the salt you eat are usually come from the hidden sauce of like canned goods, sauce, daily like pepperoni and salt that sausages, which is added on this processed food. So stay away from that. And you want to have a smart food choice, which is really you want to, every time you look at the food you intake, you look at the label, make sure that it doesn't have a lot of gram of salt in there, so you can do low salt food choice, or no NO, with no salt food intake. So, and also you can use herbs, like for example pepper. You can use garlic and onion to help your food taste so much better, instead of getting this habit of cooking that, instead of use salt a lot in there, make it salty. Net result, you actually improve your heart health and your arterial health. As I mentioned, so important. Lowsutea is a really complete and low salt uh, lifestyle. And basic, the reason why is Lowsutea remove the salt from your urine, so your salt go down, your blood pressure go down, and also it does remove your blood sugar and cholesterol. So really, all that low sugar is a natural ingredient that support your better circulation, overall wellness, and it is really an excellent drink for you to help you to balance your whole body, energize you, and caring for your heart, kidney, and your whole body. So keep drinking Lowsutea. It will help you for your better health. So today's lecture, we have hope that you have a better understanding where the salt come from. And on top of that, you want to look for how to prevent salt intake. And if you have any question, do look for me. My email address is Andy, ANDY, at WAHFONG.com, Andy at wafong.com, ANDY at WAHFONG.com, or WhatsApp us. Area code is 852-6792-8891. So if you have any question, do write to us. A lot of people actually write to us. As a matter of fact, all the lecture requests is come from you guys. And basically, Andrew, I'd like to hear a little more on this. Okay, we'll make a lecture for you. And so basically, that's what, and they have a lot of good questions. We do answer you. And so that's how we do our seminar. So I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. And thank you for joining us for the seminar. And I hope you can able to learn something about what is the salt intake, all that, and is hope that you can able to really start practice to take low salt diet or no salt diet, because naturally you already a lot of food will have salt already. So net result, you can be better health and live long time to really see your grandchildren. That'll be wonderful. Okay, thank you very much. I hope to look for you. Next week I have a new lecture. I'll see you soon. You take care. Bye bye.